Okay, hey guys, yeah, let's go with the shorter video. Now, like Kira, we watch them all the time. Why not?
If I had $1 for every time somebody talked about the imminent release of Project TL, I'd probably have about $11, one for each year the game languished in the fabled development hell.
Jesus.
This game has gone through more changes than my YouTube channel, which I've had to bring out of MMORPG content slumber to talk about this gameplay.
Yeah, I love how, like, a lot of people nowadays, all they do, I see, like, CoffeeZilla, too, because I'm subscribed to him after the Ice Poseidon thing. All the time, like, some people have, like, an entire YouTube presence dedicated just to covering NFT scams. And they never run out of content. They never do, because it's like, oh, it's Tuesday. Let's see which retired porn star is selling an NFT of her boobs today. Okay, this one, all right, great. That's some good content. Let's go. Yeah, there's a new one every day. Yeah, they get more new releases than the whole video game industry.
Because, hey, it actually looks cool now. I'd given up on this game years ago for reasons we're going to go into a little bit later. But just look at this change, guys. From an isometric game you could confuse with early Lost Ark.
Bro, I watched this game like 6 years ago. I thought it was awesome. Holy shit.
Ark footage, or maybe even, Diablo Immortal, to this.
Wow. Holy shit, that's incredible. This looks cool. I mean, frame rate is fucking garbage, but wait, look at that. Wait, yo, real quick. Let me go back real quick. Watch. Are these all players fighting this NPC? Look at that. Holy shit, that's really cool, man. What the fuck? The giants are siege machines? Wow. I mean, that looks cool, man. Yeah, this is cool.
Now, first things first, let me break the most important news to you.
Okay.
Project TL is not a mobile game. For once, we get to talk about a cool look.
Wow. That's amazing. Imagine a game that's not on mobile. Incredible. That's a good start.
MMO that isn't also on mobile. Now, there is, of course, multiple reasons I'd given up on Project TL, and one of them, of course, is because of the development hell. 11 years, no news, no new trailers, anything.
That's actually what happened with Diablo. Diablo 3 was developed for so long. I think that's why the game was so fucked whenever it got released. They spent so long developing the game. It's the same as like Overwatch came from, I think, Project Titan, which was Blizzard's other game. So yeah, 11 years. Holy shit, dude.
That. And the other is
because
playing
the game Cataclysm
was
back
running
then.
against during that development. That game, of course, being Lost Ark by Smilegate. These two projects were neck and neck in development, both starting in 2011, and then Project TL just sort of, never did anything or showed any progress at all. Meanwhile, Lost Ark made everyone's mouth wet. It released to critical acclaim and big numbers in Korea, and then, of course, went on to release multiple other territories, all with varying degrees of success. If you were following both these games throughout those years, Project TL seemed like a waste of time at that point, and maybe, just maybe, that's why NCSoft took it back to the drawing board and came back with what looks like at least a visual banger. So that hit.
I mean, it looks great to me. It's a knight with a great sword walking through a castle. I feel like I feel like this could be a good game. Yep, I feel like it could be a good game. We'll see what happens, but I don't know.
visual banger. So that history is exactly why I was surprised
Don't trust
they had
NC
any
Soft?
new gameplay
Oh, the game
release,
could
because
suck,
the only
too.
reason we ever even knew Project
don't know.
Shield wasn't cancelled was due to somebody deep down.
As I said, I mean, every MMO is subject to the MMO paradox. The less you know about the game, the more hyped you are for it, and the more you know about the game, the less hyped you are for it.
In the NC Soft financial reports a couple times per year, where they would just mention the
Graphics
game
look
still
nice.
exists. I mean, look at the Wikipedia page. That tells you everything you need to know. They planned the
Lineage
beta for
Eternal,
2013.
yes, that's what it
And I think
was.
the last time we saw any gameplay released for this project, people were still optimistic that Star Citizen would launch ever. And, you know, that tells you how long ago this was.
Oh,
that being
wow.
said, it does look like they've decided not
That was
to
a
come out
long
6
time
years
ago
too
then.
late and live in the shadow of their competitor, Lost Ark, which is still banging out in Korea and recently on the Western market, and instead go for
True.
a next-gen console/PC launch to compete with the likes of Black Desert Online, but with that Lineage flair. And I say Lineage flair because this was originally developed as Lineage 3. It was the next-generation PC console Lineage game, although they have since decided to turn this into a separate IP with the extremely generic name of Throne and Liberty. They do seem to want to move away from Lineage.
I think that, like, that might be a good idea to just make a new IP rather than just try to use the same IP over and over and over. Bad name. Yeah, but I mean, like, I don't really care if it's a bad name. Like, PUBG was a stupid name. I still played the game. Like, who gives a shit?
A little bit for whatever reason, and this Throne and Liberty series is actually going to be expanded upon with multiple games. This one in particular is set to launch on a global scale simultaneously in the second half of 2022. So
Holy
it's not that far away from this video. This is not
Holy
one of those
shit.
where we're like, oh, it looks cool, but, you know, wake me from my slumber in 5 years.
Yeah, exactly.
And as for what to expect,
Wow.
let's refer to the developer's word. And please be aware, this is, of course, auto-translate from a Korean interview, so there might be some slight errors.
Okay.
Now, regarding field play, quote, for example, there have been various attempts to make field play less monotonous. Even in the same area, the terrain may change as the weather changes. The flow of battle may change depending on the direction of the wind, and you may encounter new mobs over time. Hunting methods and purposes are constantly changing accordingly. The field, the environment, and the player, these three factors influence each other, and we put a lot of effort into making the play come out in different ways, even in the same area.
That's
Various
cool.
variables are expected to create a variety of play. This, of course, is something we've heard touted in MMORPG development and promotion since the late 90s, and almost never has it actually added meaningful elements of gameplay avenues, but they at least talk about some specifics later on in the interview. For instance, arrows are going to travel
Yeah,
different...
it's like, for example, like in New World, ghosts only spawn at night. You know, it's like a little small things like that. I think that's cool. I think the Gleamite meteors would only come down at night as well. Yeah, very spooky. So, like, usually the, like, day and night cycle stuff doesn't translate very well to being good content. But we'll see.
during a storm due to the wind. You know, they'll have less range. Maybe they'll change...
See, like, that sounds like a really cool idea, but I just think it's going to be annoying to play. Like, whenever I hear, like, shooting a bow, the direction and strength of the wind affects the range, you know what that tells me? Thank God I'm using a sword.
Direction. And
that's the
your
first thing
lightning
I think.
spells will
Fuck
go from
that.
Single target when it's sunny to AoE attacks during the rain. This is also going to play a factor during competitive gameplay as well, such as when there is a castle siege happening. You could normally use a sewer as an alternate path to breach the walls.
That's cool.
But during rainstorms, it might be inaccessible. It might be flooded out. Players can also try
that
to
makes it
influence the
interesting.
environment
I
at
like
times,
that.
such as
That's
causing
cool.
a solar eclipse or a rainstorm. So presumably that's a mechanic to try and have the odds of the elements in your favor. In terms of content focus,
I think, like, the idea of a siege in the middle of a solar eclipse would be really fucking cool, man. That would be absolutely badass. It's kind of like, do you guys remember back in, like, PUBG, how cool it was if you got a fog map? Like, I remember, like, whenever we get a fog map, it was like, oh, shit, you know, oh, shit, okay, it's like this, right? It was so badass, man. It was cancer. No, I thought it was cool. I thought it was really, really cool. Fog maps were scary. I liked it a lot. Yeah, so, like, having a cool, like weather effects and stuff like that and having it affect what's going on is a big deal for me. I think that's badass.
what I could find wasn't huge. They basically say that they're going for a two-pronged approach. The first being story, and I know I can already read the comments. A lot of people are going to be talking about, you know, South Korean MMOs have bad story, but hear me out on this one. I don't think South Korean MMOs typically have bad story. I just think they tell their story in bad ways, at least for what.
Well, a lot of the times, like at least I know with Lost Ark, it's very, what's the word for it? It's very formulaic. There's no like real twists and turns. It's just kind of, you know, it's like, I mean, that's the thing with Shadowlands. Is like Shadowlands could have been a really good story, and I think if you had to tell the same story, like, and you just gave it to like a team that was better at telling it, it would be good. It would be a great story. So like if the way that you tell a story isn't part of the quality of the story, I feel like the two are interchangeable, and like they're so intertwined that it's hard to separate them.
We're used to. In fact, Black Desert Online is heralded as having a terrible story, but if you actually go read their lore snippets throughout the knowledge system and follow everything, go to their website, read the things, it's actually a really well-built game world with a deep story spanning, you know, hundreds of years. The issue is that they don't convey the story very well in the main questing system.
I can't think of any game like that.
Of most people's experience with it.
Yeah.
Most people are not going to go deep dive the wiki or go read.
So you have to
all
read
the
a bunch of
notes.
like external
They're just
stuff
do
to
the
know what's
quests,
going
and
on.
if the quests are boring, they're going to stop
Damn,
skipping them.
bro.
That is, of course, their own failing for not making the story engaging enough in the system that most people will experience the story. But if they put a focus on story and tell it well, there's no reason it can't be good. It's not like they just can't write good stories. They just overall don't focus on it all too much, because that's not...
I feel like the story in a game can be like, think about...
Como posso subir meu nível mais rápido? Cara, depende da classe. Depende se você também tá. Se você comprou o pack, que vem as asinhas que dão 30% de XP, né? Depende como é que você tá upando. Mas, sinceramente, cara, eu fico simplesmente farmando o dia todo, 24 horas. Faço os boys de clã quando tem que fazer. PVP eu tiro pouco, porque eu não vou muito atrás, eu prefiro o XP. E beleza, mago é uma classe que farma muito, né? É a das que mais farma. Acho que posso dizer que é a segunda que mais farma atualmente no coreano. Depois do crossbow, pra mim é o mago, o boneco é a classe que mais farma, né? O staff, sem ser o orb. Então, velho, é você ir pras áreas que dão mais XP e ficar lá direto farmando, simplesmente isso. Mas pra você fazer isso, você tem que ter uns status bons, né? De dano, de accuracy, tem a resistência boa, defesa, de redução de dano, entendeu? Tem os anéis elementais. É assim que eu faço o dia todo, dia todo, dia todo. Por exemplo, eu tô aqui agora em Antares Lair. Tô farmando em Antares Lair. B5, B6. Tá bem fácil já pra mim agora, B5, B6. Então é isso, mano. Eu simplesmente farmo em locais que dão mais XP, só isso. E uso, dependendo da ocasião, as potions, as asinhas lá do evento, né? Que dá 30% de XP. Do evento não, do pack que você compra. Cheguei agora o que tá rolando. Boa noite, Berg. Cara, eu tô vendo aqui um reaction desse cara aí, que é um dos caras de maior, como é que eu posso dizer? Se você falou de MMORPG, né? Aqui na Twitch, por exemplo, ele é o cara que tá no topo ali de stream de Lost Ark, desses jogos MMO e RPG. Então ele tá reagindo aqui ao trailer do Throne and Liberty, que era chamado de Projeto TL, que seria um Lineage aí, né? Então ele tá vendo um vídeo aqui do cara comentando sobre o jogo e ele tá reagindo e eu tô assistindo aqui. Porque é um cara que tem nome no mercado, sabe? Tipo, ele tá fazendo algo que pode crescer muito ainda mais o jogo aqui no Ocidente. Projeto TL, né? O Throne and Liberty. Tem o trailer no meu canal também aí. Então é um cara que tem muito, como é que eu posso dizer, um impacto, né? Ele tá fazendo isso para milhares de pessoas ali. Eu não vi nesse dia da live dele, eu sigo ele, mas tem muita gente assistindo ele. Esse cara muita gente assiste ele, então é uma coisa interessante aí. O problema é que minha skill que dá dano em área gasta muito MP e o potion de MP não recupera nada. Cara, o potion de MP ele recupera sim, ele dá um tique ali pouco, mas ele recupera sim. O projeto TL é segundo semestre, né? Não tem data oficial, mas é esse ano. Para você fazer isso, a questão do MP, Eu já tenho, acho que 2 vídeos aí falando sobre o MP Regen. O que é que você pode fazer? Botar um colar de MP Regen, botar seu set Full MP Regen, que é o set Avado, se eu não me engano. Peito, luva, bota. A calça, não lembro se tem alguma que dá MP Regen. O ciclet, né? O helmet, botar um que tem MP Regen. O que mais? Argumentes. Em todos os seus, nas suas armaduras, botar argumente que dá MP Regen. Nos seus acessórios também, procurar botar MP Regens, né? E conseguir o pet red de MP Regen, que é o que eu tenho, Ice Queen. Se não for um red, tente botar um azul. Mas se você já tem um red, é bom usar o red, né? Pelo XP. E é isso, mano. E fazer códex de MP Regen também. E consumo de MP. Diminuir o consumo de MP Regen. Entendeu? Fazer códex. E basicamente é isso, pra não ter o custo de mana ali caindo toda hora, né? É isso que eu faço. Tá ligado? Beleza?
About like the story in like Mists of Pandaria or the story in Legion. The story in Legion and Mists of Pandaria was good, but most people didn't really give a shit about it that much. But like the story has to be really bad or really good for people to care about it. It's like in BFA, people didn't like the story that much, or in Shadowlands, people don't like the story that much. In Final Fantasy, they like it a lot, and so that's like a big positive. But for a game like Lost Ark's story is just, it is a story. You know, it is a story. There are characters in the story. Characters do things in the story, and events occur which lead those characters to future events that occur within the story. And there are words that those characters say, and there are endings to certain stories, and then other stories continue going on. There are climaxes, there are low points and high points in the story, and what I'm really trying to say is that Lost Ark has a story. That's right. And that's about all I can say. It does, and like, nobody gives a shit. Nobody gives a shit. It doesn't really matter that much. And because people aren't there for the gameplay, it's not embarrassingly bad. It does have some kind of ridiculous moments to it, but for the most part, it's just like, it is what it is. So yeah, I like Lost Ark story. Some parts of it are good, but like, what I'm trying to get at is like, it's not award winning and it's not award losing. It's not Shadowlands and it's not Shadowbringers. That's all I'm trying to get at.
Typically why people play their games. The second focus is of course on competitive content, which is another huge focus of Korean games. As we see from the trailer, there are bosses in the game that look like they take dozens, maybe hundreds of players to defeat.
That's
as
cool.
well as what I imagine are castle sieges and large-scale
I have to get a
PvP
new
from that
graphics
same
card, though.
footage. Realistically, anyone who's ever played a Lineage game before knows that there was massive focus on that PvP. So
God damn, dude, I never played this game. That looks so cool.
Feature of Project TL. And again, this is no longer Lineage 3, so it doesn't have to follow in the same path.
Holy
but
shit.
It was built as Lineage 3 for about a decade, so it does make a lot of sense. One of the coolest features about this game that they showed, of course, is the ability to transform in.
Some context, by the way, is Steven, the guy who's making Ashes of Creation, the head of the studio, one of his big inspirations for Ashes of Creation was Lineage 2, right? It was a big game he used to play back in the day. That and Arcade. And so, I'm hoping that Ashes of Creation is going to have stuff like this. And what they've shown in Castle Sieges is that they will. I'm really, really excited for that. Yeah, for whatever reason, I just missed out on Lineage 2. Like, I'm looking at this game and like, dude, I would have played this game all day, every day. Like, when did this game come out? Like 2003, something like that, I would guess. Bro, I would have been on this game like non-stop.
Of course, is the ability to transform into animals. The core philosophy for this feature is that they want to heavily limit the amount of fast travel in the world, such as teleportation. So more akin to, say, Black Desert Online as opposed to Lost Ark, where teleporting is constant and the world is less of a focus after the first clear. This isn't limited to a single animal either.
One reason why people are more okay with not having fast travel in Black Desert, and like, at least this is why I was okay with it, is because you could auto run. So like, you could, you know, like how on like your ship in Lost Ark, you can kind of like set a point, like a trajectory for your ship to go in. Well, that's the way that it worked back in fucking the other game, right? That I was thinking of in Black Desert, is you could do that. Yeah, you could travel in general, right? Horses are fast as fuck. Yeah, but you could just go AFK and let the character do it for you. So like if they're not going to have fast travel, then they should have auto run or something like that. That way people don't have to just like sit there and move their character for 10 minutes, because that's what killed New World, I think, for a lot of people, is just the amount of downtime that they had going from point A to point B. That shit took forever.
You can go from land, water, and air transformations, depending on your situation, as well as you can also pick up other players. They are also developing another game alongside Throne and Liberty, which of course plays into the factor that they're making this a new IP, just like Lineage was.
What's this?
And the working title for this game is Project E. These games are going to exist in the same timeline, on the same planet, and share the same history with each other. But the details are a little bit foggy, how they're actually going to play out and how different the games are going to be due to the Korean translation. And a lot of the key details are mostly story focused, aside from the fact that Project E is set on the eastern continent of this planet and Project TL is set on the west. So this is
so they're setting up like an expansion.
Something that
that's
they go
smart.
in depth with and they actually feel connected as games.
Yeah, that's really
but if they
smart.
don't play like each other in any kind of way, and they're not designed to be played for, you know, people play both games, then it might, you know, just be a complete non-factor. We'll just have to wait and see what they do with it, I guess.
That
so
looks
that all
cool.
being said, some obvious things to talk about that I can't possibly forget. This is a game from South Korea in the MMORPG genre from NC.
I like how he says that, and all he has to do is explain what it is, and people are like, yeah, that's true. Yep. Oh, boy. Yep.
Soft. And that means no matter what happens, it will be on the scale of pay to win. Being realistic here, almost every single MMORPG is pay to win at this point, and we just have to judge whether or not the game is still going to be fun for us, as it will be on the scale of pay to win. Being realistic here, almost every single MMORPG is pay to win at this point, and we just have to judge whether or not the game is still going to be fun for us as individuals, and if the level of pay...
I wish the player bases could get together and say they don't like this and just like kind of shut it down. It's very unfortunate for me to see that people like I know this is a losing battle, right? That's why I don't really care. I don't really fixate on it as much anymore and everything like that. But like with WoW tokens, it's pay to win. With like a bunch of stuff, it's pay to win, right? With like a Lost Ark, they have a million elements of pay to win. Like they just don't really, people just don't really give a shit about it anymore. And it's just like, I wish gamers treated pay to win the same way they treat NFTs. Like if that happened, video games in general would be a lot better. If they just treated microtransactions in general the way that they treated NFTs, that would be so much better. Yeah, horse armor was the worst thing. Bro, we thought it was just one little thing, and then it turned out that it wasn't. Literal decades of microtransactions wore them down. Yeah, I think so too. But isn't though gamers, as you call them, not engaged in microtransactions or pay to win? Normies do? Oh, shut up. Do you think pay to win is better than pay to subscribe? In my opinion, this is kind of what I like the idea of. In a free-to-play game, I like, even if a free-to-play game is pay to win, I think they should be able to make it pay to win, right? Like, why not? Like, I'm not going to tell people what they can and can't do, right? It's like went back to what I said before. But I am against loot boxes. I will say this for sure. Like, I am against loot boxes. I don't think that they should be legal. I think that loot boxes should be illegal. However, that being said, I think that if you want to make a game, make it pay to win, it's up to you. But it's also up to you to convince the audience that it's not. And the unfortunate reality is that a lot of people just don't care, or they try to find excuses for why it's not pay to win. Whereas in my mind, right, Lost Ark's pay to win, and so is WoW, and I love playing both of the games. And like, if I knew, for example, like me not playing the game, I could get everybody else to not play the game to try to like push for some sort of change, I would do it. But like, it's just, people just don't give a shit. Like they just don't care. The same as I feel like they used to. I feel like people have just gotten worn down, and like it just doesn't matter as much as it used to at all. So yeah, no need to be convinced. Just be honest. It's pay to win. Token isn't pay to win. I think it is. I think the WoW token is pay to win. I think I can make a very strong argument that it is absolutely pay to win. And so, yeah, we grew up and got money. Yeah, but like there's kids that don't grow up, don't have the money, and there's plenty of people who grow up that still don't have the fucking money, right? Not everybody can be lucky enough to have a good job. So like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't make pay to win if it doesn't ruin the game. Yeah, it's just like, I don't know. I wish the gaming communities in general would be more against this stuff, but people are just so like, they're just so apathetic that even if like we say like, you know, in like my stream, like, oh, we won't do anything that's pay to win, it doesn't really matter because there's just not enough of us to make a real impact. That's the truth. Or people don't want to spend money just because it's not rewarding to pay to get stuff. Yeah, sure. It's not bad if a free-to-play player can compete with the pay-to-win player. Yeah, but if you can compete with the pay-to-win player, what the fuck are they paying for? You see what I'm saying?
Being versus playing is acceptable enough to
what are you paying for?
In an ideal
They're
world,
pay to
yada,
lose?
yada,
That
yada,
sucks.
You know all the lines at this point. Personally, for me, the gameplay looks cool enough that I'll give it a try and see what this is about. And the fact that it isn't just Lost Ark, but likely worse, makes me much more...
Someone says pay for convenience is okay. I disagree with that. Because what I think pay for convenience does is it creates a profit incentive for a developer to make their game inconvenient. You see what I'm saying? Like it's like, and what do you define as convenience? It's just like, yeah, I don't know, man. Like I would say something like maybe PoE stuff is like kind of pay for convenience and I'm okay with, but I'm also a big PoE fan, so you know, take that as you will.
All the lines at this point. Personally, for me, the gameplay looks cool enough that I'll give it a try and see what this is about.
I'll give this a try too.
It isn't just Lost Ark, but likely worse, makes me much more excited to try out the game later this year.
Yeah.
As well as, of course, it's a global launch, meaning we're not going to be watching Koreans go hard in the paint with it for 4 years while we hide in the wardrobe jerking off looking through the keyhole. And yeah,
True.
it also isn't a mobile game, so good on them, I guess. Let's
True
wait
and
and see what
true.
we get. And thank you very much for watching. Like the video, subscribe for more content. I have a Patreon if you want to throw some money at me, which is always lovely. And I will hopefully see you next time. Stay safe out there. We're out. Peace.
That was a good video. I'm glad that he got all that. That's a just simple, easy to play video. Evil to do video, easy to do video. What do you think about skins? I think that skins in a free-to-play game are, I mean, bro, like it's like just necessary in an extent, right? I mean, like how the fuck do you not have skins in a free-to-play game? Like how do you make money? And so yeah, either way, Throne and Liberty, this is the video again. It's from Kira TV. I've seen a lot of his videos before. I think they're really good. And, you know, again, it's a really simple and to the point video. I think he brought up a lot of good points, and this is just in general a very good analysis of an early game like that. So yeah, I'm definitely happy. Let's watch Second Recommend. It looks great. Yeah, I'll watch that off stream. And that's another one of the porn NFTs. Yeah, and that's what I was saying, right? Is like Kira puts out videos about this shit, and it's fucking great. I love watching the NFT videos. I think they're fucking hilarious, okay?
soul.
Aqui, ó. A skill me faz atacar de longe. E o Kakai também tem uma passiva que faz me atacar ainda de mais longe, ó. O Sonic Rage. Uma skill Awakening. Aumenta o range. Quando habilitado o Sonic Rage, essa skill ela é liberada. Então, além de eu atacar com o Sonic Rage de uma skill de uma distância, a skill Awakening, a passiva Awakening aqui, né? Do Kakai faz com que eu ataque ainda mais longe. Ah tá, skill então deve ser azul, tenho que farmar ela, achei que era nos pontos do seu Dex. Não, não, é skill, mano. É baratinho, velho, Sonic Rage, ó. Dual Blade, Sonic Rage. Sonic Rage, ó, 14 diamantes, velho. Expand Blaze Energy Attack Enemies that area further away. Isso aqui, ó. Faz com que você ataque de longe. Tá bem barato as skills, mano. Você vai. Muito, muito barato, ó. O Dance, que é o buff, o Song. Olha, baratinho, baratinho. Ó, tem todas as azuis aqui, mano. Você consegue fazer isso aqui rapidinho. Easy. Easy peasy. Easy peasy, lemon squeeze. Caralho, valeu, de boa. Beleza, Guilherme, tamo junto. Ah lá, os caras fizeram fora, ó. Só drop top. Ó, dando o Kalel aqui, 13 mil. Só o famoso drop. Dynamo. É o meu safe target. Tira a foto. Ei. Alô, pois não? Alô? Alô? Danger anyone? Anyone? Ah, isso mais uma azulzinha aqui pra eu tentar mais um, cara. Meus heads. Já tá foda. Mais um também pro azul. O quê? Cadê o que, rapaz? Meu irmão, deixa eu aumentar teu volume aqui, ó, porque aqui tá muito barulho. Fala aí. Alô? Ah, tá bom. 160%. Ah, ok. Como é que foi o dia aí de crã? Tá safe. Joguei nenhum Blaze, nem ontem, nem hoje. No crã. Ah, peguei no crã de armadura. Ah não, peguei no e-mail. Mandaram aí pra mim, já até vendi já. Que é mesmo? Que foi? Arena de Girã. Ah, não. Caraca, agora que eu fui ver que eu tô de asinha aqui ligado até agora. Ei, eu gastei quantos? Meu Deus. Eita, devo ter gastado umas 5 aqui. Aí é foda. Para de bater, né? Quem que é? Tô aqui, play. O que vai fazer? Testar alguma coisa aí? Ela vai só se quiser acertar aí. Não. Sim, pode mamar aí. 170 de defesa, 24 de redução de dano. 25 agora. Irmão, esse orbe aí. Agora que eu tô vendo. Ah, tá. Cara, então é o orbe aí que tá fazendo efeito. Vou mamar aqui então no senhor. Ok, deixa eu ver se eu dou. Falando na Maria. Oxente. Morreu aí sozinho. Ah, deixa eu botar mais 2 pontos de def aqui, vai. Lá. Ah, mais nada nesse clã aqui. Deixa eu falar sozinho aí. Vai, ataca. Meu bloco tá pegando, que sabe? Isso daí é o orbe, viu? Queria dizer não, mas fazendo a diferença aí. Caraca. Caraca. Isso é porque eu não tenho o de redução à magia, senão. É, não tem não. Não, só. Olha. Né?
My faith lies in the way of the light. Brother, feast your eyes on my path.
A arma não tem mais não, é o pet. Cara, é o Iron isso sim. Uhum. É bom, é bom. Hoje também fica ligado aqui direto, é só ativar o pimba. Aí pota. Top demais. Bora nós dois, joga. Um cura no outro, um grupo e heal, marcando shield de um pro outro. Ih, rapaz. Falta ali pro meu farm, né? Eu tô no 22, daqui a pouco eu pego o sniper. Pô. O Crazy Boy. Sim, tava rolando os aris, né? Ah, perdemos, velho. Opa, de nada, velho. Sim, bora. Já já, como é que é agora? Dolinha. Agora eu vou encerrar aqui a live. Chama o João Vitor aí. Levar ali pro farm. E ainda esqueci que eu tava com colar de stun 5%. Ah, Zarishzinha aí, bora lá. Vai.